Hey, it's Nick Tuminello here. I want to answer 3 common questions I get about my Strength Training for Fat Loss and Conditioning Practical Program Design Workshop, which I will be teaching May 12, 2019 at Clientele 3 in Boston, Massachusetts. So the host is Justin Kampf, and what Justin has done is asked me 3 questions that I'm going to answer for you right now. Here are the 3 questions. First is, how is strength training for fat loss different than traditional strength training? Second is, basically, as a fitness professional, what are you going to learn and how can you apply it to your clients that, you're not already doing? And then third, would you benefit from attending this workshop on May 12th in Boston if you're not a fitness professional? Let's say you're an exercise enthusiast. Would you benefit from coming? And if so, how so? All right, so let's get to it. What is the difference between strength training for fat loss and conditioning versus traditional strength training? The answer to that is really simple. It really comes down to what the end goal is. Traditional strength training is something that is traditionally associated with training for maximizing muscular development. Some people call it hypertrophy or, bodybuilding essentially. Or from maximizing force production, that would be strength, so powerlifting, things like that. However, most people in the gym, and that means most people who are training with trainers, whether it be in an individual, one-on-one, or semi-private, or small group training, or in larger settings, are not in the gym to be weightlifters or to be gym rats. They're there really to maximize their health and fitness, to improve their overall function, which means how they feel, how they move, work around some aches, pains, and limitations, hopefully relieve some aches, pains, and limitations, and also to offset, it's for fat loss and weight management, to offset some of the things that they like to eat, and hopefully, lose a little bit of fat in the process. And again, that depends on the diet as well. So the goal of metabolically oriented strength training, even though it's semi-looked at as just going really, really hard with horrible form and whatnot, that is not what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about how to train to maximize the metabolic demand of the workout session. In short, that's what strength training for fat loss is about. But also how to do so in a safe, effective, and efficient manner, and a manner that's intelligent, all right? So that's essentially how it's different. So again, it's different in regards to what are you trying to maximize? Are you trying to maximize muscular development, strength, or the metabolic demand? Strength training for fat loss and conditioning is about trying to maximize the metabolic demand. Now, why do I call it strength training for fat loss and conditioning? Conditioning would be basically what a lot of people would call your fitness level. How resistant you are to fatigue, how long you can go, the length of competition. Which also can be an injury risk prevention tool because fatigue-related injury is a high risk factor. So the more resistant you are to fatigue, whether going a long hike or doing a sport like Muay Thai or MMA, the less likely you are to have a resistance, a fatigue-related injury. So conditioning is a little bit more of a well-rounded concept, and that better fits with a little bit more of what most people who are in most exercise settings working with or without trainers are looking for. And the only real difference between the workouts isn't really much, maximizing the metabolic demand. The only real difference is what are you really doing with your diet. So you can train metabolically, and if you're not really changing your diet, and a lot of people aren't, they're training for weight management to kind of push themselves, challenge themselves in a way that improves their overall confidence in themselves but doesn't hurt them. But even if you're not changing your diet, you can still get in great shape. You can get in better overall condition, more fitness, more fatigue resistance, better recovery. All right, so how can a fitness professional apply, or what are they going to learn that they can apply that may be different than what's already out there? Well, I have 2 ways to answer this. First off, I already have a book called Strength Training for Fat Loss. It's sold really well. It came out a few years ago. It's probably my best-selling book. And the concepts and techniques that you're going to get in this workshop are geared more towards the in-depth programming aspect of it, practical programming aspect of it. But the system I'm going to get into is a system that I'm going to share with you the ins and outs. I'm going to show you every bit from programming templates and frameworks, the whole 9. It's exactly what you care about, what you want to know, and nothing that you don't about practical programming. I'll give you my system. But it is not a system that I put forth in any other part of media or any other information source I have, from article to book. There are certain things I keep reserved for workshops like my Strength Training for Fat Loss and Conditioning Practical Program Design Workshop to give value to the folks that come there. Sure, you get bits and pieces and things from books, but keep in mind my books are very consumer driven. This is more geared towards the professional, but I speak in a way that's very simple to understand and very practical oriented. That way anybody can apply it. So speaking a little bit to the non-fitness professional there. Now, how is it different? Well, what most clients that trainers are training in everyday settings, whether it be in-home, in a big box gym, private studio, or sometimes you may go back and forth, most clients are, again, not in the gym to be weightlifters. Exercise is secondary to them. They're doctors and lawyers and moms and dads and whatnot who are coming into the gym to push themselves a little bit. I jokingly call adult PE. And what they're really looking for is, yeah, they want a little bit of fat loss. They want a little bit of, muscle building and challenge. But what they really want comes down to the 4 Fs. And it means, in no particular order, fitness, function, so fitness is recovery. Function is how you move. Fat loss is metabolic, to offset the foods they're eating and hopefully accelerate their metabolism. And fun. Now, fun, not like water park fun. It's going to be challenging. But something that's going to interest them and keep them coming back. Unfortunately, what most educational resources that are geared towards trainers are geared towards what trainers want. Powerlifting, bodybuilding, how to master a kettlebell, how to master Olympic lifts. If you're a trainer who's been working with real-world clients, you realize most of your clients could care less. They don't want to track numbers. They'll ask you 10 times, how do we do this exercise again? They like variety. Didn't we do this last Tuesday? Why are we still doing this? So there's a large gap between what trainers are actually dealing with what their clients care about, and what we're learning in the so-called fitness education setting. The fitness education setting is more geared towards what trainers want and what trainers care about. This seminar is client-centered. It's geared towards over 20 years of being a personal trainer, working full-time with the everyday population. And it molds scientifically founded, practically driven techniques that are client-centered. They're things that your clients are going to enjoy doing, that are going to fit what their goals are, and that they're going to keep them coming back and keep them interested, because those are some of the challenges that an everyday trainer is dealing with. What's everyday programming like? It's not like periodization like you read in these books about 12-week periodization phases for football or for whatever. The everyday personal trainer is dealing with people a lot of times who don't organize their schedules around meal prep and their sleep and all these things, number one. They don't really memorize form. And they come in often and they say, can we not do legs today? Because over the weekend, I had some old college buddies come into town and we decided to go play tennis all weekend. And my legs are really sore. So can we not do legs? Well, you might as well ball up that finely programmed, designed, periodized program that you had and throw it in the garbage. Because you're not training somebody who's trying to peak for anything. So that's the difference between what we're learning and what you're going to learn in this workshop. This is about what clients come to you with, regular things and strategies that you can use to keep your clients happier, to honor scientific principles and programming principles, and meld the two together in a practical setting. And that's what my system really delivers. So that kind of answers the last question. Is if you're a non-trainer, what will you get out of this? Well, I would say if you're someone looking to maximize powerlifting or Olympic lifts or kettlebell mastery or whatever, this is not the workshop for you. That's not what I focus on. I'm not going to teach a system that teaches you how to be a better weightlifter. We really focus on more or less making you a better human. It's more well-rounded, how to take a mixed approach and to take the best components from various styles of training, from 3D training to powerlifting, and put it together for a more multidisciplinary approach. Look, we got a guest here. So she will not be attending the workshop. So if you're an everyday exerciser, enthusiast, whatnot, absolutely come, because there's nothing that I'm going to say that is speaking, that you have to have a PhD or whatever. I don't have a PhD. I don't come from an academic setting. So everything is going to be very easy to understand, practical. You're going to get training frameworks that you could use today. She's undecided on where she wants to go. That you can use that day, and you're going to see exactly how I train clients. So I look forward to seeing you there. I appreciate my little guest, and I'll see you in Boston on May 12th.